Alright guys, welcome to the video. Now it's been a little bit over a month since I've done an expenses tutorial here, and we're using the business template again. So for all my online arbitrage sellers out there, or literally anybody that's doing an e-commerce business, this template is really going to help you out. If you want it and you don't have it, obviously I give it away in my course, but if you want it, it can help a lot of people out, and I wish I had something like this to keep track of everything when I first started, so I knew exactly what I made, exactly what my profit was, exactly what my cost of goods were, tracking my expenses, and more importantly, what I had to allocate for taxes. If you want this, just shoot me an email. I'll pop my email up on the screen right now for you. Shoot me an email, ask for the business template, and I'll just link it to you. Now we're going to talk about the income, the expenses, and the cost of goods so that we can track our profit and the taxes that we have to pay for October of 2018, my birthday month. Now, as you can see here, there's not that many expenses, and we were actually down quite significantly in October, which I don't actually remember at the time of creating this, but apparently that's how much I made in October. So I did check November and December, and it does spike back up drastically in November, back to the normal of about 10K a month, and then in December I just completely hit it out of the ballpark. Obviously that's normal for most e-commerce businesses, especially for Amazon and Q4. You know, you have literally anything on e-commerce, you're going to sell a lot more in December because Christmas is literally right there. So that's to be expected. You know, October, you could basically say that, you know, maybe I had a down month. It looked apparently, and we're going to talk about it here in a second, like there wasn't as many good products to source in October for online arbitrage, but it could have been a number of other things too. It could have just been like a lot of people not necessarily going out and spending a lot, knowing that full well that, you know, maybe you know, the holidays were approaching or something like that. But this is exactly what I made. Now, for the expenses, I do, you know, the last 2 months, both September, even though I made a lot more in September, and in October, I didn't have that many expenses. So if you want to see examples of expenses all throughout, because we've been tracking basically the back end of the business model for the online arbitrage all throughout last year. We just have October to do, and then we're going to do November and December as we move forward as well. So you guys can see all that. You can see the back end because a lot of people don't usually talk about that. But I give, you know, countless examples of different expenses that I expense on my business throughout the months of like January to June. And then on top of that, I think in the last one in September, actually, it was only $129 for my commissions and fees. And I went through and I just gave you a bunch of different examples of things that you might expense for advertising, things that you might expenses for the cars and the trucks, things that you might expense for, you know, contract labor or depreciation or health insurance or utilities, stuff like that. So if you want to check those out, all those videos, especially September, to give you examples that, you know, you could basically relate to your business and your e-commerce, you know, business, then you can go ahead and check that playlist out. I'll make sure to drop it in the description. It'll be labeled something like, you know, business expenses, taxes, or something like that. I forget exactly what it's called, but the playlist is down there. So moving forward, it looks like the two payments that Amazon paid me in October totaled a grand total of $6,700 and $6,703.13. Now, obviously, the commissions and fees always stays the same. I checked it; it was still $129. So there weren't any other expenses, it looks like, that were on my card or my bank account for the month of October. So we're just going to move forward and move on. This is going to be a short one. Now you'll see here that takes the expenses off automatically. That's why I love this spreadsheet. And it brings my net income to $6,574.13. But wait, that does not mean that that's what I actually made, because a lot of people might think that, hey, you know, I made $6,700 because that's what Amazon paid you out, right? But you didn't, because obviously you have your expenses and then you had your cost of goods. Me specifically, and your business model might be different. If you're doing like private labeling, for example, obviously then your cost of goods is going to be what you sourced from your products overseas or something like that. So it could be multiple thousands. It might be like 500, depending on where you are in your business model. For online arbitrage, it's going to differ every single month, obviously, too. For me specifically, I spent a grand total of $1,101.29 in the month of October. And the way that I track that, I get this question all the time, is basically I have a business bank account and then I have a business credit card. The only purchases that I ever make via those two things, so the bank account, it's like the debit card, and then the business credit card, are literally for business cost of goods expenses. So I know that if I look at my statement and tally them both up and they equal $1,101.29, then that is exactly what I spent on my cost of goods. Now I do go through and I outline them because obviously we have the commissions and fees there too. So that's how I basically keep track of it. You might do something different, but that's what works for me, and that's what my accountant suggests. That way we have like a you know, kind of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a a tracking system, I guess you could say, so that we can always go back if, God forbid, I get audited or he needs to see something or we have questions about where some money came from or whatever. So that's how what I do, that's what works for me. So let's pull up the calculator and figure out exactly what I actually profited from online arbitrage in the month of October 2018. So we'll take the net income, right? Let's move this down so that we can see. So we'll take the net income, so $6,574.13 minus the cost of goods, because that's what I had to spend to make that money with online arbitrage, right? So $1,101.29, and that leaves me with a grand total profit margin of $5,472.84. So that's what I made. That was my profit. But I do have to pay taxes on that. So when you work, a normal 9-to-5 job or you have an employer, right, they're going to take your taxes out ahead of time before they pay you. As an entrepreneur, in most cases, unless you set up like an automated business bank account, which I have talked about in the past, if you want to check that video out, I'll drop that as a card up in the right-hand corner, and I'll also link that down in the description below. I'm pointing up, but I think I'm up in the top left right up here right now, so maybe I'll point like over. What is it? Is it over or it's over? I don't even know. But it was up in the right-hand corner. It's also linked in the description below. If you want to learn how to do that, you can also use like an app. There's automated apps that will literally just take a certain percentage of every single transaction that comes into your account. It's very, very easy to set up. But I like to just allocate it myself. I used to have the automated bank account, and now I just allocate it depending on what I feel like my tax bracket is, because I look through it every single month and every single quarter with my accountant. So I like to. People always give me, crap about this, but I like to take 30% out for taxes ahead of time. Now, it does not mean that I'm going to basically pay all that money in taxes, whether you're paying monthly, quarterly, or, at the end of the year. But I just like to have more in my tax fund for a lot of different reasons, right? So I'd rather have more at the end of the year than have to come up with money to pay my taxes. So I'd rather take 30% than like 20% just in case I have to pay more than that. So it's more of like a conservative estimate why I take more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this by 70%, right? Because if I multiply that by 70%, that's what I actually get to keep. All the rest of it goes to taxes. So we're trying to figure out what I made after taxes, like a normal employer would pay you out, right? So in the month of October, that means that I, after taxes, made $3,830.98 from online arbitrage. Now, if you guys like this video, please toss it a thumbs up. I really, really appreciate it. Furthermore, if you stayed this long, there are still two coupon codes left. Usually they go pretty fast, but I guess, people, I haven't done online arbitrage videos in a while, probably like over a month, honestly. So, the last video that I did online arbitrage was like 2-3 days ago, and I dropped 5 coupon codes. Only 3 of them were claimed, which was a surprise to me. So there are still 2 left. So if you guys do want those, I'll pop the coupon code up on the screen right now for you. Now there's only 2 left. Once they go, that's it. And you can find that course down in the description below, or you can simply go to onlinearbitragepro.com. So onlinearbitragepro.com, use the coupon code up on the screen right now. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.